Hello, respected viewers, audiences, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, and I welcome you to our webinar series, where we will be discussing about work permit in Canada. This is Enamul Hussain from NSRIC. I welcome you and greetings. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning from NSRIC and its subsidiary, NSRIC Immigration and Visa Consulting. So, and the main theme for the workshop today is what is work permit? How we can move with the work permit? What are the requirements of work permit? So I will start with the definition of the work permit. What does it mean in Canada? According to the Canadian labor market and Ministry of Immigration, the work permit is defined as the permission of the foreign workers, foreign people, or foreign national who are willing to work in Canada under an permission. And this is a legal permission under which a person is eligible to work in Canada. Like other country around the world, as you know, there is a legal issue working in one country, being a foreign national of that country. So Canada is not an exceptional case in such scenario. But the good news about the Canadian workforce and labor market is every year Canada brings more than 500,000 people under this category. So Canadian government now is facing serious shortfall of the skilled labor. So there is a always need for labor market skilled workers. So according to the statistics Canada this year 2025-26, Canada is planning to bring at least 500,000 people every year. So you as an individual can take this opportunity to come to Canada as a work permit holder. Now, let me try to highlight what are the fundamentals, core requirement to get a work permit. We will discuss about the paperwork that are needed, but however, the primary requirement of a person who can pursue for work permit, number one, the educational qualification. If you wanted to have a good job, if you wanted to have a highly skilled worker category work visa, then your academic qualification is a needed criterion for work permit. So this academic qualification meaning it can be your school certificate, grade 12 certificate, grade 10 certificate, university certificate, or traditional diploma or course completion certificate. So academic qualifications will determine in which level of work you are eligible to work. Then number two is, which is, I would say, which is the most important criterion to become eligible for work permit visa is the skill set. Your personal skill set in any area of job. So it ranges from, let's say, agricultural worker all the way to university professor job and all categories of other jobs. So according to the Canadian standard, here skill set of a person is the second most important criterion for getting work permit, because every job, as you know, is skill driven or skill oriented job, such as, let's say, you are a terrific writer, so you can pursue a job towards the research and writing job. Let's say you are expert in agriculture. So the people who do not have high level of education, let's say there are some regular job which is agricultural, labor job where anyone can work in such job, cleaning job, hotel cleaning, hotel janitor job, or construction worker, and so on. So for this type of job, you do not need to have a high academic qualification. However, you need to have some sorts of skill set, minimum education, let's say school pass certificate is enough for this type of job. So the skill is an important criterion for this work permit. Now, according to the Canadian labor market, it calls LMIA, so labor market impact assessment. Almost all the job category in Canada, they are somehow related to, it calls National Occupational Classification. In short, it is NOC. So all the job category are fallen in any of the category. There are 9 major category in NOC. So, and these 9 category are subdivided into many subcategories. So if you visit our NSRIC website, you will see the definition of NOC, importance of NOC, and the classification of NOC. So you can get an overall idea about the NOC numbers and how it works. Let's say you are a skilled worker in technology. So you will find many job under this category, the NOC number. So you find and get the NOC number, and accordingly you match your skill set with the occupation as explained in the Canadian labor market document. So this is how you match your skill set with the NOC. Number 3 most important requirement is English proficiency certificate. This is a misconception, I would say. Some of the people who believes that IELTS score or TOEFL score or English proficiency certificate is not mandatory for getting a job here in Canada or for getting a work permit visa. With respect, I do not agree with this. This is a very simple logic. If you are working in your country, in your locality, your language is the only mode of communication to communicate with your co-workers, your colleagues, your supervisors, and so on. So in workplace, communication is extremely important. Otherwise, how you will continue your work in the work environment? So similarly, Canada is an English speaking country. Yes, it is a bilingual country where French and English are the 2 official languages for every corner of the country. However, English is the most popular language where majority of the citizen of the country speaks. So if you do not know English, if you do not have good efficiency, good performance, good speaking capability, writing capability, reading capability, and listening capability, how you are going to communicate with your co-workers who will be working with you in the workplace? So this is another most important requirement, that English proficiency is needed. Even these days, if you wanted to come to Canada, this is a requirement. For very low category job like agricultural workers, you may not need to have IELTS score or English proficiency certificate. However, as I explained, the requirement for English or French, understanding the French language and the speaking capability of the French or English language is an important ingredient in workplace. So, in nutshell, I would say after a skill, the English proficiency is must. So if you meet these 3 criteria for helping and for bringing yourself into a competitive candidate, you can think of applying for work permit visa in Canada. Now, how it works? Every eligible, there is a quote saying Canadian Designated Learning Institute, this is DLIA, for a student who wanted to come to Canada, they will get a open work permit. So apart from this, any eligible and any legal company who need worker, they can issue LMIA for you to get the work permit. Now, what are the steps a person need to follow to get the work permit? Number one, for work permit visa, there are two types of work permit. One is called closed work permit, another one is called open work permit. So it depends on your status, on your way, how you are coming to Canada. So for closed work permit, it is directly related to an individual institution or company who is issuing an LMIA based work permit for you under some constraint, meaning the employer and you will have an agreement and you cannot move or you cannot change the job until unless there is a significant change. So the closed work permit is the work permit which will be issued by an employer, definitely Canadian employer, for you to come to Canada and work for the company. Another one is open work permit, as I mentioned. This one fall under several circumstances, and in short, it says temporary foreign work program for Quebec. This is called facilitated LMIA. Another one is global talent stream. So under those category of LMIA, let's say you or your spouse, husband or wife is coming to Canada for study, so the other spouse will get an open work permit. That means if you are a student, you will definitely get an open work permit for part-time job as a student. On the other hand, your spouse will have an open permit for full-time job. So you do not have any obligation to work under one single employer because your LMIA is not tied up, is not linked with the employer. So this is open. You are free to work with any company in Canada. Another type is, let's say, sponsor visa. One of your family members, specifically the spouse, who is residing in Canada as a student, as a permanent resident, or even as a citizen. In such case, you as an individual can get a temporary resident visa under which you will be given a temporary foreign work permit, meaning open work permit visa. So this is another way that you can come to Canada under work permit visa. The last one is, let's say you are coming to Canada as a visitor. So purely you are visiting Canada, but during the course of time while you are visiting, you somehow managed a company, an employer who is willing to give you an LMIA permitted job. So you get a job while you are here as a temporary resident under what? Tourist visa. So you can transfer your visa into work permit visa. This is another way to proceed for work permit visa. So these are the some of the category that you can pursue to come to Canada, because in the introduction I already mentioned that Canada has huge requirement of skilled worker in different areas. Now there are some job where you can manage. These are called LMIA exempted job offer. So for those type of LMIA work, you don't need to have work permit. You can directly get the job and start working. One of the category is called International Mobility Program. In short, it calls IMP. Another one you can say NAFTA work permit. The country that are associated with under NAFTA in North America, they are eligible to work and they do not need LMIA. Then another one is CETA work permit and intra-company transfer. Let's say you are working in a multinational company where you are an employee in your own country. Now, if company wants to bring you Canada, that is also possible, and the company will just process some sorts of document for you so that you can migrate from your own country to the Canadian territory, and you will be working under the same company where you were working at your home country. So these are the requirement and type of work permit what Canada offer. I would believe that this type of discussion will help you to assess what are the really basic and fundamental requirement to become a work permit worker. Now, if I highlight some of the important required document for work permit, the first requirement is educational document, which already I explained as a primary requirement, and then photocopy of your travel document, meaning passport, and if you have travel document, that is a special document, and then if you have a job offer from a Canadian company, this is also a required document. If you do not have employment letter, then you can pursue to get a job offer from any of the company in Canada. In the third phase of today's discussion, I will elaborate little bit on that. And then if this is the case, let's say assume you have a employment letter from the Canadian organization, then you need to give the documents of the employer, and then your police clearance certificate is needed, and then language proficiency, as I mentioned, this is also needed, and then your passport size photograph for processing the file. However, you need a specific photograph for visa, and you will get all the information in Canadian government website. Then medical exam, sometime you need to have biometric if it is needed. Majority of the cases it is needed, but there are some exemption as well. If you receive a letter for biometric, then you need to give your biometric for the visa. And then there are some other document. Let's say you wanted to come to Canada with your family. So we receive many questions from our clients regarding this issue. Work permit is a visa category where you can bring your family. So if you have school going students, if you have spouse, you can bring them with you. There is no harm. And accordingly, your children will have an opportunity to study in Canadian academic institutions, school, college, university, without any visa, meaning they are with your work visa. So they don't need additional visa. Same applies to your spouse. So in terms of work permit, these are the required document, and these are the way how to approach and how to get it done. Now, how you will pursue for a job offer? Of course, in Canada, there are requirement of skilled labor from your country. Sitting down in your home, you can actually try to apply to the job which is very relevant to your skill set, very relevant to your academic qualifications. I can say you some website that are really very good. You can apply through them those country. For example, one of these is Canada Job Bank. This is the most reliable and most accurate, and it is governed by the Ministry of Immigration, and this is a government job opening. So this website, if you visit the website, you will see all the people or all the employee are who need foreign worker. They post their advertisement in Canada Job Bank website, and you can look at the advertisement, you can look at the description of the job. If you feel that this is aligned with your skill set, with your qualification, you can simply apply with the Canada Job Bank advertisement. And there are advertisement over there. The employee can see whether it is LMIA job or whether it is not LMIA job. So you should focus where the job description and the employer is putting it is an LMIA job, meaning this is for international worker. So your focus should be this type of job, and there are thousands of jobs in thousands of occupational category. As I mentioned, the NOC category. So they are aligned with the NOC category, and you can apply. So you try, if the employer feels that your application is very fit for the job, they definitely will communicate with you and they can take interview and they can give you a job offer. This is how you can manage your job offer, and this is the most important document if you wanted to come to Canada under work. So now if you try to get an agent or a company who will be working for you, certainly NSRIC Immigration and Visa Consulting can help you in this regard. We have agreement with different employer who consistently need international expert people, skilled labor, so we can help you in this regard. But you don't need to have an agent, you don't need to have a company to assist you. The bottom line is you can apply by yourself and you can do everything by yourself. Even if you go and visit our website, a complete guideline is there how to apply. So you can take advantage of it. So this is what I have today for our webinar series. Unfortunately, our consultant, Mr. Zakir, has a medical emergency. So early this morning, he and his wife went to the hospital. So anytime he can join once he is done with the medical. So with this, I thank you everyone for listening our webinar and joining our webinar series. I would appreciate if you subscribe our social media to get the most updated information. Almost every week, we organize webinar series at this time, 9:30 in the morning Toronto time, which is EST time, about different types of visa, about our school NIST, about our program of NOC program we call under NSRIC, different work development, different skill development program we offer. So every week, Saturday, 9:30 in the morning, please keep your eye on our social media to get the information about webinar series, and you subscribe our social media. I would request everyone to be associated with you. With this, I thank you very much, and again, have a wonderful day and stay safe. Thanks a lot. Now floor is open for question and answer session. Our valued and honorable audiences, the people can now ask for any question related to work permit. Thanks a lot. One of our brother, Parvez Siddiqui, he is asking, Assalamu alaikum, sir. Thank you very much, brother Parvez. Is that possible to get any work permit from Bangladesh? Brother Parvez, thank you very much for your question. Definitely, you will get work permit from Bangladesh. The simple way, as I mentioned, you only need to be patient. You only need to work little bit hard to find a job in Canada. So Canada Job Bank is an official government official website where valid and legitimate employer post their job requirement. So if you find an advertisement from Canada Job Bank, you apply by your own. You don't need anyone, to be honest, to find a job and get your dream destination. If you wanted to apply through us, definitely in the discussion, I tried to highlight this. We have agreement with different Canadian employer who need mass employee. in different area, for example, agriculture, nursing, health worker, health assistant, bank assistant, cleaner, and so on. So you can also apply through us. Thanks a lot. Mr. Ayaz Ahmed, thank you very much, brother, for throwing your question. Question is, what is the minimum education is required for Canada startup incubator visa program? This is an excellent question. I think this is not the today's webinar. However, today's webinar is dedicated for work permit, but I am going to give the answer. The answer is basically if you wanted to come under any business investment visa, the startup visa is one of them. You basically don't need education. So, only you need to invest money. You have to have sufficient money to solidify, to safeguard you and your family in Canada. If you produce document, definitely those documents must be authenticated, must be valid, that you have sufficient fund to run a business, to invest in business, to buy a business, let's say, to start a business here in the Canadian territory. And you have to prove that you have sufficient fund to support your family and yourself. In general, for a startup business visa, you need to spend around 130, $40,000 to make it everything clear, and then additional 200, $300,000 if you have. So total, let's say in $3,000, $4,000 is enough to get a startup business visa. Thanks a lot. Engineer Miss Bahuddin. Thank you very much, Mr. Engineer Bahuddin. Work permit visa, how much it cost? This is a very vague question, I would say. If you find a job, if you do it by yourself, I would say you don't need to basically spend any penny, meaning only required money, which is $4,000, $5,000 at best. But if you go with some agent, if the employer wants money from you to give you the job offer, though Canadian government is restricting this type of activity, but yet this is a business. People are doing business, unfortunately, which is the truth. So if you need to pay the employer for the job offer, you need to give 15 to $20,000 to the employer. And then if you go with some agency, you need to spend another 10, $15,000. So those are the additional cost you need to pay. Thank you very much. Shahid Hunjai, thank you very much, brother. So can we have question and answer session? Yes, this is what now we are conducting. Yes, Mr. Shahid, this is the question and answer session. And we are not cutting anything as it is. It will be live session for the Facebook, so you can watch later. And if you have any question, please throw your question. Thanks a lot. Darakshan Said, yes, sir, how much amount is needed for this process? Mr. Syed, I already mentioned, again, I am repeating it. If you want to pursue by yourself, you don't need that much money apart from medical, the biometric, and then plane fare, and then documentation, and so on. But if you go with the agent or organization, actually, you need to spend lots of money. So it is better, I would highly encourage to pursue by yourself. Mr. Anik Rahman, thank you very much. Am I looking for a job offer assistant by your company for my immigration? Yes, Mr. Anik, definitely you can find a job through us. We will be happy to help you to process your file. There is no doubt. And recently, we also secured a license which is called NSRIC Global Recruitment Solutions. So, through that organization, we can pursue for your job and we can offer you under that job the work visa we can pursue for you. There is no doubt of it. Thanks a lot. Manik Prince, please answer me my question. If I go in Canada with a visit visa and if I get LMIA, do I need general IELTS? Also, what kind of paper I need? Please inform me. Thank you very much, Mr. Anik. It is a very good question. Think about it. When it comes to IELTS, IELTS is a test. Okay. You can prove your English proficiency through IELTS, through TOEFL, through it calls ESL, English as a second language. Okay. So English as a second language is a program. If you have this ESL program certificate, which NSRIC International School in Toronto offer this certificate, this is government school, as you know. So we also give this certificate under ESL. Now, if you come as a visitor and you get a job, when you transfer this visit visa into the work permit visa, yes, unfortunately, you need to prove yourself that you are having English proficiency. Not necessarily that it is an IELTS exam. IELTS exam normally is widely accepted as an English proficiency document. Okay. So the answer is, if you get a job offer under LMIA, yet you need to add a IELTS or English proficiency certificate to get the transfer of your visa to work permit visa. Now, if it is low category job, let's say agricultural job, which is in high demand in Canada, the visa officer may exempt that requirement. Okay, he is inside Canada, it is low category job, so no need. A similar job, let's say construction labor, let's say cleaner, those type of job, sometime it is exempted. You may not need for IELTS score or English proficiency. But keep it in mind that if you do not understand, if you cannot speak in English, how you are going to communicate with your co-workers. So for your need, for your necessity, your employer need, you actually need to have some level of English proficiency. Thanks a lot. Another brother Shahid Hunjai, again, I applied so many times on job bank, but none of them replied. Just wanted to know that is there any time limitation for employer? This is a setback, brother, I would say. I am very sorry to tell you the insight, but this is not, let's say, Bible, what I am saying. There is always exception. I am talking about in general. In general, these days, people apply from around the world. In Canadian Job Bank, if you find an advertisement that are very much relevant to your skill, relevant to your academic qualification, very much aligned with your experience, so you applied. Now you should keep it in mind that thousands of people like you are applying for the same position from other country. So it is really, really very, very difficult for an employer to sort out those and reply to all the applicants. So they do not reply, meaning you are not shortlisted. That means they have selected other people. So you should not be disappointed. You keep going. And there is a need that if you apply with some valid agent, some really good company, certainly you can rely on us. In such case, you don't need to go with those type of hassle and those type of mental stress. You can easily pursue job from there and you can be successful. So the most relevant candidates will be contacted, and that's what the employer does. Sometime these days, they set the AI machine. So automatically your keywords which you set in your CV are not catched by the machine. So as a result, your application is dropped from the competition. So there are so many things behind the screen. Mr. Al Amin, I am interested. Thank you very much, Mr. Al Amin, to show your interest. I would say you try, and then if you find a good company, reliable company, you should go with them. Even if these days, what I am seeing, I am observing, even yesterday, I had a conversation with Middle East people. To get a job, to go to any country in the Middle East, it ranges from, I am assuming you are from Bangladesh. So 4 lakh Bangladeshi taka all the way to 15 lakh Bangladeshi taka, specifically in Kuwait. So you need to spend this much money to go and start working there. So imagine, comparing with the Middle East country, if this much money is needed, how much money it should be for Canadian labor market. So it is very rational, I guess. You should think in this direction as well. Thank you very much, brother. Mr. Ayaz Ahmed, can 5 co-founder can wait until get PR without applying work permit in Canada startup incubator program? This is a very good question, brother Ayaz Ahmed. Thank you very much. If you have 5-person group, then what happen? Your processing fee for the governments will be reduced. So there are 3 steps of government fee, and actually those fees and these money are spent, these money are taken by the government, but government will give you service for those. They are not going to take this money. They will invest the money that has been taken from you to upgrade your status, to upgrade yourself, so that you are not failing in the business. That's why startup business, also the business investor visa, they are very costly. Government will take lots of money to educate yourself, to train yourself, to prepare your business plan, to set up your business. All these will be done by the agency. They are regulated by government. So as I mentioned in one of the answer of the question, if you can invest 200,000-300,000, I think this is the most appropriate one, and it does not have any hassle for getting PR. All these will be together with the package, and this is the most easiest one so far if you have money and if you can invest money. There are some advertisement we see around the social media that $20,000, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, if you can give, you will be given startup visa or business visa. I'm not complaining, but I would say, being a responsible person, money is yours, life is yours, family is yours. So before putting your step on those lucrative advertisement, little bit dig on the website. What are the minimum requirement to be eligible to apply for any startup business, for a business visa? You will find everything in internet. So, my humble request to our honorable subscriber, our interested people, audiences, and our followers, please, you don't need to come with us. You don't need to, invest your money, put your money with us. In our website, everything is clearly written. In addition, you just dig little bit more how much money is needed to be eligible to come to Canada under startup visa, under business investment visa. You will find everything. So the people who give you lucrative advertisement, think 2 times, 3 times, multiple times to put your steps with them. Thank you very much. Mr. Rashid, Assalamu alaikum, uncle. Okay, walaikum assalam. Can you please put your question here so that we can answer? Muhammad Nibras, Mr. Muhammad, how many years of experience is required to enter into work permit eligibility? Mr. Muhammad, this is a very good question. Thank you very much. Minimum work experience is needed 2 years. Really, if you have 2 years of experience in align with your education and skill, you are very much set. You are good to go with work permit. Mr. Masum Khan, I am an MA in English, assistant headmaster, and 44 years old. Can I apply for work permit? I am fluent in speaking and writing English. I will be able to score 6 in IELTS. Mr. Masum Khan, thank you very much for your question. This is again a very good question. First of all, I would say IELTS. IELTS score 6 is good, is okay, but for work permit, it should be IELTS general. So IELTS two types, as you know, IELTS academic, IELTS general. IELTS academics is for study permit visa and IELTS general for other purposes like work permit. So if you score 6, it's wonderful, good. Now there is a little, red signal for you, 44 years. So for work permit visa, the most smoothest transition is under 45 years old people will get work permit visa very easily. So you are almost in the age of 45. So I would say if you are really interested to come to Canada under work permit, I would say today you go and find a job and move forward. After 45 years, you would be in red zone, meaning you may not get the job, you may not get the visa. And as long as you are assistant headmaster, so I would say Canada has a huge demand for school teachers. So you can certainly pursue, or you can certainly apply for other job, let's say university, student assistant job. There are library job where people like you are in great demand. Thank you very much. Honey, Mr. Honey, thank you, or Miss Honey, I don't know. Thank you very much. How many chances are there to convert tourists visa into work permit? Mr. or Miss Honey, this is a very tricky question. There is no assessment because it's very simple. It can be 0, it can be 100, it can be 50-50. So the bottom line is you are coming here, you are here as a tourist. You are not allowed to work in Canada. Even it is true for any country around the world. If you are visiting a country, you are not allowed to work over there. Now, you are in Canada, you are under this tourist visa. If you get a job while you are a tourist, definitely your visa will be transferred. And you can say until unless there is a problem of medical health issue or criminal issue, I can say it is quite certain that you can transfer your visa from visiting visa to work permit. Thanks a lot. Abdul Wahid, Mr. Abdul Wahid, thank you very much for your question. Sir, how can I get work permit through your service? What is your service charges approximately and total process timeline? Thank you very much, Mr. Abdul Wahid. If you want to take our service, I would say before coming to us, my humble request on behalf of NSRIC and NSRIC Immigration and Visa Consulting, we wanted to establish a clean and clear image to our audiences, to our customers, to our clients. We wanted to establish a solid image for the global people. So, before coming to us, I would request you, please dig little bit more how much money you may need to invest to get a work permit visa through an agent, through a company who are reliable, who really wanted to help people. Of course, this is a business. Every company will do business from your work permit. It is not hidden, and this is a business. But how much business is there? So I would say you can talk to Mr. Samsul Azam here after the webinar and dig more how much money in general needed. And then we can talk to you. Already I set an example, a bar standard in Middle East. If someone wanted to go, it ranges from 4 lakh Bangladeshi taka all the way to 15 lakh Bangladeshi taka, which is equivalent to 6,000 Canadian dollar to 20,000 Canadian dollar. I know one of my relative went to Kuwait, 12 lakh Bangladeshi taka. So you can imagine now and you calculate it. Thanks a lot. Again, Ms. or Mr. Honey, is there any reliable recruitment agency who charges for money and give a valid and confirmed work visa and job offer? I would say definitely. If I say 100 recruiting agent, this is your responsibility among these 100 who are the most reliable, who are the most competitive. That means they do not do business blindly. They maintain some ethics, right? If some agency take, let's say, $40,000 for work permit visa, maybe they are taking 35,000, 30,000 like this. So this is your responsibility, I would say. You dig and find out the authentic company, authentic agency. Certainly, if you are interested, you can talk to us. You can look at our website, you can look at our establishment, and so on. Thanks a lot. Again, Mr. Shahid Hanjai, how much we can trust recruiting companies? Like few days back, I received a job offer letter from a person. While I checked the address was correct, when I mailed for the counter check, but no response. So how the offer letter can be checked? This is so frustrating, Mr. Shahid, to be honest. From our client pool, from our well-wisher, from our subscriber, from our audiences, randomly we receive such offer letter. They send us for validation. I would cordially request you, our valued customer and respected audiences, you as a person, primarily it is your responsibility to find authentic agency, reliable company, agency. I am not telling that definitely we are authentic, we are reliable. There is no doubt. That is the reason in our website we put our business number and we have physical existence. We have physical location. We spend millions of dollars to bring those website. So apart from this, if you go with a company, with an agency, primarily you look for their reliability. And definitely this type of offer letter, majority of the cases, with all due respect, I found fake clearly. So far, personally, I saw almost 99% are fake. So I cannot make further comments. And it is a trap, unfortunately. So you, as NSRIC audience, as NSRIC subscriber, we are here to help you, as simple as. Certainly, you can also look at around and get the reliable people to help you. Thanks a lot. I again thank you all who are with us from around the globe and who are supporting us to give you support, to help you. We have different services for you. You please keep your eye and subscribe our social media. With this, I thank you again. Stay safe. Have a wonderful day. Bye.